What's happening? And welcome back. Did you know your mouth, this thing right here on your face, could be one of your greatest assets? Did you know that? All right. So in Genesis chapter 1, there's something embedded in that chapter for us to find, but a lot of times we miss it, and we just kind of skim over it. And today I'm gonna reveal to you, which is probably not even too much of a revealing, but I'm gonna reveal to you what we've been overlooking when it comes to one of our greatest assets, which is our mouth. So I was recently on a book interview. I'm interviewing for a book that I'm looking to write. And so I'm on this interview and I'm sharing some information about my past. It's interesting because, if you were having mental health issues, and you were talking to a mental health professional, what they would do is say, let's go back into your past, because the past has clues, right? So we're talking about the past, and I'm going through a part of my story that I don't share much, just because I probably I have so many stories, and I found that out while I was talking to my friend. And so here it is. I'm in my past and I'm sharing some pivotal moments. Did you know? You may not know this. Did you know that I got my first job in 1995 as an accountant, and I got fired in July of 96. Wow. Yeah. Got a new job, but it was something interesting. Something interesting happened. I was kind of upset. I was down on myself. It was a Friday, the day before. It was the Friday before July 4th of 1996. And then a friend of mine came and picked me up the next day, and we hung out for the whole day. And then after that weekend was over, I said, I'm gonna get a job the next week. At least I believe I said this. I'm gonna get a job the next week. And within about a week, I was back to work, right? And didn't think much of it. I just was. Now, here's the thing. Don't miss this. When you say something, I'm going to tell you what it does. If you follow the framework that I've been talking about on this podcast with the talk about it, think about it, talk about it, think about it, talk about it, think about it, take action. See, you can't just say something and sit in your chair like I'm sitting in my chair. If I just say something, I'm going to get me a job and I don't send out no resumes, how you can get a job? I'm not saying sometimes you can just get a call out of the blue, and there's things that happen. I got a call out of the blue from somebody recently, and they, it's like bam, bam. It was almost like easy money. But if I'm not doing nothing, does the call come in? We don't know that. So when you talk about it and think about it, what happens is it puts you into action. So I said, I'm going to get another job. I just start sending out my resume, and then I get another job, right? You get another job. And so then I said, I got this next job. I'm happy about it. I ain't going to mess up. I got fired again. Jay, why are you getting fired? Long story. Maybe it'll be in the book. I don't know. But long story. I'm not going to go through all the stories. But I got fired again for something dumb, but here's the principle in the situation that I was in. Don't do anything when you're upset. When you're angry, you tend to make decisions that don't help you when you're angry. And I was angry, and that anger, even though I didn't realize I was in anger, that anger caused me to have a blind spot, and that blind spot cost me that job. Did they have to fire me for what? I mean, it was pretty small, but there was a principle in it, so I get it. I get fired. Firing number 2. This time I said, you know what? I'm going to be the best employee at the next job, and I was up there. I was one of the best employees. I helped build a whole department with systems that I created. What? Yeah, for some reason, my boss believed in me. Have you ever had somebody believe in you to the point where you thought you could do anything? That's what happened to me. I thought I could do anything. Listen, I learned I learned how to use Excel and access databases, and I took some classes, and I learned software and systems in a way that I never knew I could do it. And I was doing it and created this program, created this system, and people were using it. And it's like, yes, Jay created this for us, and this is what we're using. So I was on a high. But here's the thing. Sometimes even when you're at a high, you could be expendable, right? So the company was going through some stuff, so people started getting laid off. I didn't get laid off immediately, but time came and I got laid off. A nice way of saying you get fired. But here's the thing. I said, I'm gonna get me another job. I said this, before they lay me off, I'm gonna have me another job. Do you know that's what happened? Seriously. I was looking for a job, looking. And then check out what happened. I get the word that I was getting laid off. And then I get the word and literally phone rings. All right, we can start on Monday. I left on Friday. I was working on Monday. No loss in pay, still doing good. I worked that job for 3 months. It was only temporary because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do anyway. Then that ended. I said, I think I'm going to start a business. I think I can do that. Now, this is back in this was back in 2001. So November 2001, I made a decision to start a business. Had no clue how business worked. Had no understanding of what it would take to do it. I just knew that, man, I'm going to wind up having to sell stuff. Man, that just feels weird. But I think I can do it. Why talking could be your greatest asset? Because when you say something, it forces you down a path. Then you have to make the decision. See, because you can't merely say something and not do anything. So I would say something, then I would do something behind it, and then I would start getting the result. Anytime that I've said something and I did something, then I just didn't get the result. So what I've discovered in my short time in this conversation just today, actually yesterday, I realized that, I got to pay attention to my words. Now let's go into Genesis. Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness moved upon the face of the deep. And God said, let there be light. Bam. There it is. There's a principle. Whatever God said is what happened. See, right there, if you were reading it and you stopped, maybe you don't get it. But many of you have read that, and you've read the whole chapter, and you've gotten to that verse in 26, I believe, 26, 27, 28, where you start learning about yourself, where it says, let us, out of the mouth, make man in our image. So now he's going to make a man, and he's going to create a man based on his word. So, okay, so stop. Let's stop here real quick. Talking could be your greatest asset. Or I could have said it might be your demise. Talking. Your words could be causing problems in your life. You ever thought about it? If you have the same power as God, I'm not talking about the same power in the sense that you can create something out of nothing. Because we can't create something out of nothing. Only God can do that. He's given you the power to use the same thing that he used, his voice. He says you can use your voice too. Because if I can use my voice, and you can use your voice for what you have to create. So if you said something, listen to what you say. Let it come out of your mouth. The next phrase that comes out of your mouth, audit it. What did I just say? What did I just say? Because if you don't audit the words and you don't analyze, you have to analyze the words. Are the words healing my body? Are the words healing my business, healing my relationship, healing my bank account, healing what are the words healing it? Are the words creating what I want? See, this is the part. This is the part where most of us be like, Jay, come on now. It can't be that. It can't be just like that. Well, I think in the early 1900s, the people started to realize that's where a lot of the great books were written, especially with this thought of like Think and Grow Rich. And yesterday I was talking about The Science of Getting Rich. And there's another one I want to mention today, Your Invisible Power, written by Genevieve B. Rand or something like that. Your Invisible Power. These are simple books that would have been discounted by people, would have said, oh, they're just talking about making money, or they're just talking about getting rich, or they're just talking about success. Absolutely. Your Invisible Power. What is that? See, I could have titled it that. Your Invisible Power. But before we get to the invisible, let's talk about what you got on your face. The face, our face has this thing called a mouth, and our mouth, which in the hierarchy of value is right underneath the top level. There's 4 levels of value, and your mouth communication is at level number 3. People that use their mouth, that know how to communicate, that know how to talk to people, that know how to sing, that know how to make people feel good. Think about it. The singers, yeah, they get paid a lot. The actors, they get paid a lot. The people that do sales, they get paid like anybody. The speakers, anybody that use their mouth and they use it well, they have the ability to earn at the lowest of levels, 100,000, and at the highest of levels, could be 100 million. Really? Yeah, with your mouth, just your mouth. One aspect of your experience of your body, just your mouth. Look, I'm stumbling on my biggest asset. And I'm telling you that it was this interview. It's not that I didn't know. That interview showed me some things that I did with my mouth, with my speaking, that brought me to just like simple results. Wasn't even like big. But when you consider most people want to start a business and they're afraid, oh man, well, luckily I didn't have to quit a job. I got laid off. And so I just said, well, I just went cold turkey. I said, well, I ain't going to go back. And hopefully I don't have to go back. I had a few months of savings from what I had. And when it ran out, I didn't have to go back. So that third level of value is that level where, look, if you don't do anything else and all you got is your mouth, you would be okay. But we're going to tack on one more, which is the highest level of value, which is imagination. See, imagination, we all have it. Like when you was a kid, do you remember imagining your life? Do you remember imagining things that you wanted? Like if you were anything like me, I used to draw. I used to have model cars. I would play with cars. I had a little racing set. And I would be talking to myself. And I remember there'd be times I just be talking away. Nobody's there playing with me. I'm just talking. Yeah. I'm going to do this. Yeah. And having a good old time. And I remember when I got a little bit older, and then I started, I don't know, it's weird. I'd be by myself and I just be talking to myself about things that I want to do and things that I want to have, and how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to live and whatever it is. I'm just talking to myself and didn't realize what it was doing. That was that. But it was when I started closing my eyes and start thinking and start saying, man, that'd be good. Like in your mind, you're thinking, you're imagining something that literally is not in front of you. right? You're imagining it. You're imagining a life of. I remember I imagined, man, I'm gonna have a big house and I'm gonna have cars and I'm gonna be married. I'm gonna have kids and just imagining that it was gonna happen. Didn't know who was gonna be who and didn't know how it was gonna happen. Didn't know any of it, but it all worked. It all seemed to happen. It was almost like that was one level, but why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to get to that next one, to the next level? This is one that I'm actively working on. The next level, which is for me, it's like 7 and 8 figures. Like that's my next level. I don't know about yours, but mine is 7 and 8 figures in short amount of time, in a short amount of time, maybe 6 months, 3 months, 2 months. But I'm thinking like that, 7 and 8 figures in a short amount of time, not just over 1 year. Because at the end of the day, lots of people do that. What if I can do 7 and 8 figures in like 3 months or like a month or a day? Like, what if that was possible? Well, is it possible? Have anybody else done it? Yeah, they have. So that means I can probably do it. Yeah, I can probably do that. So, but you got to imagine it. You have to see at the end of the day, I can't be in my mind talking, nah, you can't do that. What? That's just like if I was talking to you, if we were talking and you said back to me, Jay, you can't do that. Why would I tell myself that? Now, if you say it back to me, Jay, you can't do that, then I'm just going to tell you're a liar. I'm just going to say that, hey, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just going to say, I don't need evidence and I don't need you to confirm it for me. I love you. I love you anyway. It's just that at the end of the day, if you have an imagination, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about your imagination. And I was reading Genevieve B. Rand's book, Your Invisible Power. And I'm reading this book and, they all spoke in this proper English back then. Like if you read The Science of Getting Rich, proper English. Now, Think and Grow Rich was actually written. It was written better, probably because they spent way more time on that book. It's got way more pages than these other ones. But after you get past some of the old language in the book, what I did discover was basic principles, right? Your invisible power. What is that? The power to see. The power to visualize, the power to imagine, the power to desire whatever you want to happen, even when the circumstances are not good. Genevieve lost her husband. Luckily, he left a little something behind, but she was not in a good place, right? She wasn't necessarily in a good place, and she somehow decided that she was going to do something. One of the things she decided to do was that she was going to be the only pupil of this guy named Thomas Throward. She says, I'm going to be his pupil. He didn't even have students. He didn't even work with people one-on-one. He lived in Europe. She's in the U.S. He lives in Europe or England or London, wherever he lived. He's over there. She's like, I'm going over there and he's going to work with me. What? She's sending him letter after letter after letter after letter. He's not even responding. But she said, he's going to be my mentor. He's going to teach me what he knows. And then she went on to like have schools and do all kind of amazing things. But she had to get past, remember we talked about this law of inertia. She had to get past that. And she just says, you know what is going to happen? She needed money. She realized she needed to go overseas in order to get closer to him. I think he responded and says, hey, he'd be willing to talk to her or something like that. But she had to get overseas. She didn't have them. Now she had money, a little bit of money to live, but she didn't have enough money to travel, go somewhere else, and have money to spare. She needed like $10,000. $10,000 back in the 1910s, early 1900s. That's probably like the equivalent of $100,000. What? And she says, I'm gonna get $100,000. Just think about it. If she had to get $100,000, because that's what $10,000 meant. She started visualizing that money. She started embracing the fact that it could come in any direction. And it could come from anywhere. Like a lot of times we cut it off. Have you ever cut off? It's probably not going to happen. You don't know how it's going to happen. It doesn't need to happen the same way you know how to get money. See, because there's a limitation with how you get money right now. So if you need to get money fast, then you just want to get money. Like it should come so easy that it's like literally it doesn't tax you. But if it's going to be taxing, then what's the point? So she visualized. And let's just fast forward. She got the money. She made the trip. Throward didn't want to work with her, but she knew. She knew this was it. Throward, she got a meeting with Throward. She get a meeting with him. I'm almost done. She gets a meeting with him. And he was like, nah, we're not working together. I don't do that. He did lectures and stuff, but he didn't do it. So he was just like, I'm not going to start now. But she kept at it. He told her no. Think about this. He told her no. But she kept asking to the point where she was writing them letters and sending them stuff like that. And so he responded and says, okay, if you can answer this question, he give her this crazy question. Oh my goodness, it was crazy. He gives her a crazy question. If you can answer this question, then I'll work with you. She couldn't answer the question, but because she was so passionate about it, she knew she could find the answer. She found the answer because she was looking, meaning she was asking this. She started calling people who she thought was thought leaders, and she was asking the thought leader, hey, do you know what this is? 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 And she finally met somebody. She met somebody, said, hey, she's trying to work. The guy was like, oh, you trying to work with him? Wow, I know you work with people. She said, hey, well, maybe you know the answer to this question. And the person that she showed the question to, he answered the question. And she gave the answer to Throward. And Throward was like, oh, he accepted her as a student. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes the thing that we want, it's going to take our desire to talk it out, our desire to think it out, and our desire to keep going. The action that she had to continuously make is the reason why she was able to become the only mentee of Thomas Throward. She wound up teaching whatever method he taught back then, and she taught on a much higher level than him at some point, because she wound up teaching more people, but she was his only student. And at the end of the day, look, I tell you that story because you have an invisible power. You were gifted with an imagination, and you was gifted with a mouth. And both of these assets are the two assets that if you use them, and if you use them properly, right? If you talk the thing, if you think the thing, and if you take action on the thing, you have to transform your life. It's literally the principle that God has given us. It's yours, but it's yours when you keep going. Because if you don't keep going, if you stop, right? Like I've been doing these push-ups and I want to stop every day. I said, I would be like, I don't want to have any days where it says, oh, you didn't do a push-up. If that happens and it was out of my control, then I just deal with it. But if I can control it, I don't want any missed days. Just like this podcast. I don't want any missed days. I've had missed days before, but for some reason, I'm like, I can't miss any more days. What are you passionate about? What are you committed to? What are you willing to talk about for the rest of your life? What are you willing to obsess over in your mind for the rest of your life? And what are you willing to take action on, even while the results you seek, you don't get them. What are you willing to do? Use your greatest assets today. Allow today to be a beacon call for you to transform your life today, so that whatever it is that you seek, whatever success that you want, whether it could be a successful business, a successful ministry, it could be a successful family, whatever success you're looking for, successful weight loss journey, and the body of your dreams, like whatever it is, get passionate. Literally make it about not just the success that you seek, but make it about the lives that could be affected by your success. If we all transformed our life and thought of our life as a way to help others, how many more people could we help? How many? It's 2024. It's March. And this year, Scott, I think there's some amazing things that's going to happen. There's going to be some challenging things that's going to happen. Let's prepare. Prepare with me for whatever challenges that are coming, right? So we are positioned for what we have to do so that we can prosper even in a crisis. So guys, my name is Jay Moore. I'm the Healthy Accountant, right? My sole mission in life is to help you to account for your life, your business, whatever it is you're doing. And I'm so thankful for you. Make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast, wherever it is that you're watching it. And we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. God bless you. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the Healthy Accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.